Good morning. It is March 16th, 2024. This is episode 108 of the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast, a podcast by a dreamer for dreamers. Man, it has been quite the week. I got back from Los Angeles back to Arizona this afternoon. Had a bunch of work to do, and then I immediately went to some shows tonight. I had two shows at JP's Comedy Club in Gilbert, where I'm kind of a regular there. And the first show, well, they both went pretty well. I'm doing a lot of, I'm trying a lot of new material now, and so a lot of it, it's not like quite dialed in, but it's like, it's funny enough that I can, sort of stumble my way through it, and if it doesn't quite hit as well as maybe it has at other times, I can still sell the material, or I can just sort of bounce out of it. But that's the process of working with new material. But I'm wanting to get, just a bunch of new material written and refined. I've been doing more or less the same set for about the last 6 or 7 months. And, that's been going well, but that's all that's the artist's journey, is you constantly got to be creating new stuff and putting new stuff on stage, seeing what hits, seeing what doesn't hit, and doing the whole refining process. So that's what I did tonight. I got an opportunity to meet a very funny headliner named Ahmed, who I have actually, I know of him. I don't think I've ever met him in person, but I've known that he's been, a pretty big name in the old comedy industry. And I'll tell you, I am just in this weird sort of holding pattern of, I'm just surrounded by talented comics who have done incredible things. At least on paper, it's very clear that they've hit milestones in their careers that I haven't hit, certain TV credits, late night credits, that sort of thing. And so it can be discouraging sometimes when I go, oh wait, this comic has been doing this longer than me. They've had all of these, big breaks, but they aren't quite launched into like stardom or to be a household name, that sort of thing. And that can be a little discouraging. It can be discouraging to see somebody who I perceive as, again, better than me or more connected or having had more experiences, and to realize that they're still grinding away, and yet some other comedians just absolutely blow up and are so huge, like a Matt Rife. So that's a real challenge for me to deal with that. Like, I don't really know what the right strategy it is. It's like, oh, well, just don't think about it. It's like, no, I think about everything. I'm out there trying to do this, and I talk about going for my dreams. It's like, well, I have a dream, and so, I want to gather information about its efficacy or its probability. And so it's really difficult to be confronted with actual data that says, oh yeah, this can actually not work out for you, at least not in a major way. And there are people who are older than you, more seasoned than you, funnier than you, have had bigger experiences, and they are still trying to catch some sort of wave. And I talked to this other comic once who's older. He's like in his 60s, and he just said, oh yeah, comedy's a young man's game. And I'm going, well, I sure hope not. I mean, I hope that there's a path for me, because I didn't pursue comedy when I was younger, and I didn't even know that I could pursue comedy when I was younger. So I started pursuing it as soon as it was sort of available to me. And I don't mean available in general. I just mean became once it came on my radar and I had an opportunity, then I started pursuing it. And, it was never my intention to be a stand-up comedian. That's what's so fascinating to me. Like, I don't know how I ended up here, because it was never my intention to be a stand-up comedian at all. I mean, even just over 10 years ago when I started stand-up, I only started stand-up because I wasn't doing improv at the time. I wanted to be an improviser, and I wanted to be a comedic actor, and I wanted to move to LA and get on TV and movies. And for some reason, I just kept on getting steered towards stand-up comedy. And even still, to where I've just sort of determined that, like, this must be what the universe wants me to be at least actively pursuing. Because I'm not really actively pursuing acting, which is interesting. It's weird that I got that small little acting role over, last week. If you heard my episode about manifestation, just this weird acting role in LA popped up, and I drove out there and took the role and had a lot of fun. But I don't know. I don't know how to reconcile. I mean, I've talked about this a lot. I don't know how to reconcile reality with dream. I don't know how to always differentiate between somebody else's path, which anecdotally, is that a word? Is not good feedback. It's not showing me what I want. It's not telling me what I want to hear, right? Like, what I want to hear is, it doesn't matter what age you start stand-up comedy, you'll always have a chance to make it and to become incredibly successful. But then again, I have met so many people that would also suggest, and you can also, like, fail at it, or you can also be struggling to make a living doing it, and you can also be getting fired, or whatever that case is. So I don't know. I'm still always trying to find that balance between going for the dream, going big, going large, and also how to embrace today's reality without cynicism. I think that's the difficult part, is to have a dream. I mean, you just can't be cynical. I don't think, or I'm not sure if cynicism is helpful, but man, cynicism is sure helpful to avoid getting screwed over or to avoid getting scammed, And so when it comes to pursuing this career that is it just seems statistically that it's really rare and difficult to achieve any sort of fame that is significant enough to, sell out a comedy show. I mean, it's very rare. There's a small handful of people on the planet who can do that comparative to how many people there are. So I don't know. It's hard not to just feel completely nutty sometimes and just going, man, I am bonkers to think that some sort of opportunity is going to open up to me that will give me the exposure and insight and experience that I need to actually, like, really go after it. So I don't know, my friends. That is the big question for me. Just what is the probability that something amazing is going to happen for me at my current talent level, with my current resources, with my networking? And I just don't know. I don't know the answer. That's the whole point of dreaming. If we knew the outcome, it wouldn't really be a dream. It would just be reality. So obviously, I'm not quitting. I'm still moving forward and, booking any gig that I can get. And I don't know. I do have the big goal. Like, I do have some big goals in mind that I want to feel like I'm working towards. Although it's really always hard to know if I'm working towards it or not. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, my friends. So I am absolutely floored exhausted because I did not get very much sleep last night after driving into Blythe. And I pretty much didn't get to bed until about 4 a.m. And then I was woken up because I happened to stay at one of the noisiest hotels I have ever slept in. It's like at about 7 a.m. It's like somebody had rented the whole upper floor of this hotel, which was right next to where I was, and just invited all of their friends who didn't speak English, and they were just talking so loud and stomping their feet and blah, 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 and woke me up at 7 in the morning. It was really hard for me to go back to sleep because there was so much constant talking. So anyway, that's a long way of saying I am beat. I am dead tired after doing tonight's shows. I am going to cut this one a little early, but I will check in with you tomorrow, see how things are going. This is the Paul Green Comedy Podcast, a podcast for dreamers by a dreamer. I hope all your dreams are going well, that you are navigating the frictions I've mentioned as well, and that you have much, much luck and success. So I am signing off for now. This has been Paul Green with the Paul Green Comedy Podcast, and I will talk to you tomorrow.